She's back. Hey y'all, it's your girly mind with the You Name It podcast. Coming to y'all with the Miscues for this week's episode that released on February the 4th. Whoo, child. Y'all heard it. I'll say we, because I was on the phone too. So we're a little all over the place this week. So, first off, I'll say I apologize for, first and foremost, I feel like now I have to give a full-on eulogy for James Ingram because we killed that as a group. Like, collectively, that just was bad. Like, during the week when he first passed, I saw it on social media, but I didn't say anything in the group because I was like, well, I don't know who he is, so I ain't gonna bring it up. So then Dan was like, oh, James Ingram died today. And I was like, oh yeah, I just saw it on social media. So I put it on a list because I thought he mentioned it as if, it was somebody he was familiar with. And I planned to have a long discussion about him because it was just, a little RIP. But
Speaking of throwback, though, we do need to send an RIP condolence to James Ingram, who passed away last week.
Absolutely.
Not gonna lie here. Have no idea who that is.
Hey, bro. I legit had to Google him about an hour ago when I was going up with the front sheet.
I was like, should I look this up? And I was like, nah.
I was at a crossroads. I was like, do I pretend like I already knew this, or do I admit I don't know who he was? Let me research him real quick.
Well, since we're all being honest, let me join over to that side too.
Well, I mean, I'm literally on Instagram and on Google right now, looking him up as we speak as well.
yeah, nobody knew. It's a shame. We all know about Diddy's baby mama and gave her a full-on RIP and a full backstory, but don't nobody know about James Ingram. So here's a little bit about him. He was a 2-time Grammy Award winner and a 2-time Academy Award nominee for Best Original Song. He was an American singer, songwriter, and record producer. He did songs such as Somewhere Out There from The American Tale, which is like Five Will Goes West and all them, and also Baby Come to Me. So, yeah, we're sorry, James Ingram. R.I.P. to you, good sir, and thank you for your contributions to R&B music. Next up on the list, just a little piggyback on the story about the restaurant that said they would deny service for anyone wearing a Maga hat. There was a similar story that broke last summer with Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She went to a restaurant in Virginia, and the restaurant owner came up to her and said that she represents hate because of who she works for. And she told her, she was like, because you work for the president, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. And Sanders left, but then, all the right-wing conservatives basically bash the restaurant like, oh, y'all want to be inclusive, y'all want to include everybody and everything, but then this lady comes to eat in your restaurant and patron your establishment, and y'all everybody's so gung-ho kicking her out. And it's like, you as a white woman who supports, whether she supports it in her own personal life, I guess we don't know, but you work for a man who spews hatred and bigotry and sexist and, all that stuff. So, and you speak out on his behalf as your job. So to some degree, you have to believe those things that you're talking about. So if someone feels like what you represent is harmful to their staff, whether they have, black people on the staff or gay people on the staff, and it makes them uncomfortable that you're there, they have the right to ask you to leave. So, yeah, I'm all for it. And being a white woman in America has never been a protected class. Sorry, not sorry. Like being black is race is a protected class. Sexuality is a protected class. The elderly are a protected class. Religion is a protected class. White woman, America, nah, sis. Like that just wasn't your day, man. Don't go to that restaurant no more. Shit. So, but going back to the story about the restaurant owner who said they wouldn't serve MAGA hats, apparently now he's rescinded his or retracted his statement. Um, Obviously because of backlash that he received, said that they were receiving hateful emails and threatening emails, and he's like, oh, no, that's not what I meant. I meant it all out of, if you can't, it's all about love, and those hats represent hate, and if that's the message you're trying to send by wearing it, then yeah, I don't want you in my restaurant. But if you're just wearing it, it doesn't mean that to you, then no problem. But we have no intentions on changing our policies. Like, our policy is to include everybody, despite their race or sexual orientation, and that's what we plan to continue to do. So I just want to clear that up, and I apologize to my staff for making those comments and that decision on my own without consulting them and considering how that might make them feel. Blah, 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 blah. Listen, stand on your shit. Like, you said it because that's what you meant, and that's fine. That's your prerogative. It is your restaurant, sir. Social media, what anybody else has to say. Again, do like that lady did in that restaurant in Virginia. She said what she said. I said what I said. Like, that's it. And she stood by that. You don't think she got backlash? Hell yeah. That's the lady. That actually happened. She actually asked that lady to leave. This shit didn't even happen to you, and you already backpedaling. Like, is nonsense. And that was a restaurant in California. I don't know if the guys mentioned that, but it's a restaurant. It's called Wurst Hall, and it's in the California Bay Area. And I know there's a stretch or a reach or assumption made that he was black. His name was J. Kenji Lopez Alt. Yeah, take from that what you want. I don't know, but whatever he is, black, white, or other, at this point, you're a punk for rescinding your statement. You should have stood your ground like the whites do. And lastly, the Jussie Smollett story. Now, we're a little bit all over the place with that also.
Jussie Smollett of Empire was attacked earlier this week. And he was attacked apparently by a bunch of guys with MAGA hats on that were shouting.
I don't think that's an accurate statement.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
No, they
They
had on black.
Yes, it did. Well,
they
had hoods
in their faces.
I thought they had on.
But they did scream MAGA country, or they made it known that they were.
That was also shown to be not true.
Wait, it was?
Not to say I'm out here defending MAGA or nothing,
since
but I'm just saying.
I only saw the initial headlines. If you know the true story, then
I don't really know. Torrin knows it better than I do.
No, I just know that Iman's miscues are going to be longer than this show. She's going to have a long section.
And come to find out, it's because a lot of the facts are unclear. A lot of the facts don't even seem to really be facts at this point. There's a lot of skepticism about what actually happened. And I think the general consensus amongst the group is that the story it's not sounding like so much as a hate crime anymore. He actually did a performance in Chicago on Saturday, and he spoke openly about it at the show. And I don't know, it just all seems very fishy. Like, he said, the reports originally said that his ribs were cracked. He said that they weren't. That nothing was broken. Nothing was cracked. He had to come out and perform because he won't let the fuckers win. He fought them back. And I don't know. Like, I don't know. It don't sit well with me. But if it did happen the way he said it did, and it was a hate crime, then of course, our prayers go out to him. But I don't know, Slim. But just wanted to address that because I do realize the facts weren't exactly expressed on the show. But again, that's because so many different stories were coming out, so many different media sources were reporting, and as days have gone by, even since we recorded on Saturday, more has come out. So yeah. But that's it for this week. I'll check y'all next week. Miscues with Miss Q. You name it.